Unfazed by U.S. threats, Iran plans to continue its nuclear program. Iran seems adamant on its nuclear program despite a series of Israeli and U.S. strikes targeting Tehran's main nuclear facilities last week. The head of Iran's Atomic Energy Organization said the country has taken measures to ensure its nuclear program continues without interruption following the recent damage. Mohammad Eslami said assessments are underway at affected sites, but plans for recovery had been made in advance, and operations would proceed without disruption to production or services. The plan is to prevent interruptions in the process of production and services, Eslami said. Meanwhile, the Iranian ambassador to the UN said Iran will not renounce its right to peaceful nuclear energy. During a session of the UN Conference on Disarmament in Geneva on Tuesday, Ali Bahraini accused the United States and Israel of launching a criminal attack on Iran, based on what he called a distorted report by the head of the International Atomic Energy Agency. He said the attack targeted not only Iran but also the global non-proliferation regime. Israel-Iran War News Live Iran's nuclear sites targeted. Iran's uranium enrichment has for decades caused tension, with Western powers voicing fears the drive is aimed at making an atomic bomb, a claim denied by Tehran. The United States struck 3 nuclear sites, including Fordo, Natanz, and Esfahan, in Iran overnight on Sunday with massive bunker-busting bombs. According to the International Atomic Energy Agency, Iran had enriched uranium to 60% in 2021, a short step from the 90% required for use in a weapon. B bunker busters, B-2 stealth plane. All about U.S. strikes on 3 Iranian nuclear sites. Iran-Israel tensions. Iran and Israel have exchanged wave after wave of air strikes since Israel unleashed a major military offensive on June 13. Tel Aviv targeted nuclear sites in Iran and top officials. After 2 weeks of the tensions, U.S. President Donald Trump announced that Iran and Israel had agreed to a staggered ceasefire beginning Tuesday that would bring about an official end to the conflict. It has been fully agreed by and between Israel and Iran that there will be a complete and total ceasefire, Trump wrote Monday evening on his Truth Social platform. Trump's announcement came just hours after Iran launched strikes against an American military base in Qatar, which he described as weak retaliation for U.S. strikes over the weekend against Iranian nuclear sites. Israel agrees to ceasefire. Israel said Tuesday it had agreed to U.S. President Donald Trump's proposal for a ceasefire with Iran, on the 12th day of war between the foes. The Israeli government said it had achieved all its objectives in the war with Iran, and that it had agreed to the U.S. proposed ceasefire after removing the dual existential threat of Tehran's nuclear program and ballistic missiles. Israel nonetheless warned it would respond forcefully to any Iranian violation of the truce. Iran strikes U.S. air base in Qatar. Hours before the ceasefire announcement, Iran launched missiles at a U.S. base in Qatar in retaliation for American strikes on Tehran's nuclear facilities. Qatar, which lies 190 kilometers 120 miles south of Iran and is home to the largest U.S. military facility in the Middle East, said its air defenses successfully intercepted a missile attack targeting Al Udeid Air Base. Trump was also quick to dismiss the attack as very weak. He said Iran gave early notice of the strike, thanking the Islamic Republic for the move that made it possible for no lives to be lost, nobody to be injured. Vance says Iran is now incapable of building a nuclear weapon. Earlier, U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance said Iran was no longer able to build a nuclear weapon after U.S. strikes destroyed its infrastructure. Iran was very close to having a nuclear weapon, Vance said in an interview on Fox News. Now Iran is incapable of building a nuclear weapon with the equipment they have because we destroyed it, Vance said. Swipe left for next video. After the U.S. strikes on Sunday, U.S. President Donald Trump said the Islamic Republic's nuclear facilities were totally obliterated. With inputs from agency's latest blogs.